Everybody, what is going on? It is Crypto Bobby. Hope you are having a great day, great night, wherever you are watching in from. Joining you this evening for another episode, another edition of Crypto Happy Hour. Wanted to recap some of the action that has gone on over the past 24 hours or so. Pretty interesting day across the board. Sounds stupid, but some crypto that's done pretty well for the past few days, past few weeks has pulled back pretty significantly. Others that have gotten crushed have started to recover a little bit. So we'll talk a little bit about that, specifically EOS, which is one that everybody and their grandma was talking about over the past week, has finally pulled back quite a bit from where it was previously. US dollar wise, I think it was up to about 23 bucks. Now it's at $18 or so. So it's pulled back quite a bit. We'll look at the BTC charts here as well. Also, good tweet from the man, the myth, the legend, Carpe Noctem, talking about EOS likely closing as a bearish engulfing today, and then saying a community is born. And I think that's honestly pretty funny because there were a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people on YouTube. What's up, Romario? What's up, Frank, Scott, Daniel, Chad? What's going on? What's going on? There were a lot of people that were getting super jacked up about EOS, like really, really jacked up. And it's funny because as soon as the price of a cryptocurrency goes up, that's when people start believing the hype, and that's when people start like telling themselves, and not to say EOS is going to be great or it's going to be the shittiest thing on the planet, either way, but it's funny that as soon as the price starts going up, that's when people start just like trying to convince themselves that it's like, oh no, EOS is going to beat Ethereum. It is the platform of the future. It's going to do this many transactions per second. It's going to do that. It's going to cure cancer. It's going to save babies. It's going to do whatever. And then the price pulls back, and then people stop believing those things, even if they are true or they're not true. Obviously not about the cancer and saving babies things, but outside of that, it's funny when people start like telling themselves and kind of convincing themselves. And as you convince yourself of that, that's when the community is born. That's when the people buying it at $20, $21, $22, $23 that bought basically at the local top, the near-term top, it's pulling back now. They might be thinking to themselves, oh no, it's fine. I'm going to stick in this for the long term because I really believe in this, and this is going to be this is going to be like the really big thing. But over the past 24 hours, it's been interesting to see. Past 48, 24 hours, a lot of the big name traders on crypto or on crypto Twitter, if you guys follow them, a lot of the big name guys have been saying, hey, I'm pulling out. I'm getting out of EOS. A lot of people made some fantastic money on this trade, but a lot of people got out, and a lot of people even started shorting EOS on Bitfinex. Shout out to Kyle who missed that trade. Bobby, I'm purple. Yeah, it is what it is. I think it's just the lighting in here, so I don't really care too much. But you're gonna look at me being purple, so that is what it is. And hope you guys, if you are drinking anything enjoyable, let me know. I'm drinking Sleepy Time tea because I'm an old man. I'm going to wake up in the morning and go to the gym. So hopefully trying to get unfat right now. So we'll see if that actually works. But crushing some Sleepy Time tea, not any beer, not any whiskey, because I'm an old man right now. 47 years old, takes a hit on you every once in a while. But we'll pop over here to On-Chain FX as well. Pop over here to On-Chain FX. I'll refresh this bad boy. And we can see, some of the cryptocurrencies that have done the best, or the cryptocurrencies, the crypto assets that have done the best over the past 7 days, over the past 30 days. Those are actually the ones that pulled back the hardest. And I think a lot of it was due to taking profit in, really people taking profit in the past 24, 48 hours and moving those assets elsewhere. You look at EOS, you look at Ontology. Ontology has absolutely crushed it. I can even go over here. Let's see if I can pull up my man Rocco Obstropoulos. He has tweeted about this. The airdrop for, let's see if we can find this tweet. The airdrop for Ontology. Ontology did an airdrop during their ICO. The airdrop is now worth $8,750. That is damn near incredible. The fact that you could have gotten $8,000 pretty much for free. No, I'm kidding. I'm not actually 47 years old. I've said that joke 70 times and people still believe me. But no, I'm not actually 47 years old. But the airdrop was over $8,000 at this point in time, mostly because Ontology is absolutely crushed in the market. And Rocco does bring up a fantastic point that it's basically thousands of dollars just for signing up, potentially providing your email address and maybe some level of KYC. So he mentions, don't ignore the airdrops if they're easy to sign up for, weigh the requirements associated against the possible returns. Obviously, the requirements being, how much KYC is there? Do they need a name? Do they need an email? Obviously, they'll probably need an email, but do they need a name? Do they need an email? What else do they need? Is it your license number? Is it a passport number? Like sometimes you might be like, all right, I don't really trust these people. Maybe that's worth a couple $100 to you. Maybe that's not. Who knows? But something to consider. This is probably one of the better performing airdrops, I would think, in the past 6 months or so. So a couple questions there I got. So I did tweet earlier about building up a bag of Ravencoin RVN. I could pull up that one. So Ravencoin is one that I've had a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people talk about Ravencoin. I've seen it on the market, and I've seen a lot of, I don't want to say shilling, but I've seen a lot of people talk about either mining it or accumulating it. And Ravencoin did pretty well in late March when not much else was doing well, and it's kind of since pulled back and basically moved sideways for the past month or so, whereas everything else has done extremely well. Ravencoin has basically moved sideways over the entire month of April. It is a proof of work coin. There is no pre-mine. It's not shady in any respects, really. It's backed by Bruce Fenton, is one of the big kind of originators behind him, is pretty respected for the most part in the cryptocurrency world. And am I really that purple? Let me pull this up. Yeah, let's see. Do I have a filter on this thing? Yeah, I'm still purple. So there's no ICO. It's a proof of work. It's like, kind of how Bitcoin started off. It is just a mineable cryptocurrency that you can leverage. There's kind of other aspects of it as well, in terms of putting assets on the basically digital assets on the blockchain. So there's a lot of different things kind of associated with it in more depth. But I do think that it's an interesting token. I like the market cap of it at $30 million right now, and I do like the fact that it's moved sideways while everything else has been pumping, and it's only traded right now for me. One of the reasons that I do like it and that I did build up a position in is because right now it's only traded on CryptoBridge and Nanex. Basically, all the volume is through this website, CryptoBridge. I actually signed up for it first today. It's pretty easy to use, to be pretty frank with you, but signed up for CryptoBridge, and I tweeted about Ravencoin, and then people were like, hey, it's not on Binance, I don't want to buy it. And I do think that adds actually value to the asset, to Ravencoin, because if it does get listed on anything else besides CryptoBridge, that will pump the price of it. And that's what I look at when I look at some of these other cryptocurrencies, is the accessibility of it. We've talked about that before, where I think that was either Ryan Selkis or Ari Paul one time. It was back in like August of last year. Ryan Selkis and Ari Paul had talked about like, hey, the less accessible a cryptocurrency is, the more undervalued it is, and the more accessibility that eventually is provided to that asset, the higher the valuation will be. So when you talk about accessibility, you talk about what exchanges is it listed on? Is it listed on exchanges that people actually utilize? If not, it's not very accessible, which also gives you that kind of price delta. If it does get added, that's an opportunity to increase that valuation. Can you use a ledger? Can you use a treasure? Like, what can you store it on? Right now, really nothing with Ravencoin. So I do think that there is potentially a pretty large delta in between where it's trading right now and the actual, because of the accessibility of the asset, where it could eventually go. And I've been kind of evaluating it. I read the white paper a while ago, been keeping an eye on it. It's traded flat for the most part. So I've decided, hey, you know what? Screw it today. Made some profits on some other coins. Cardano was one where I bought it. I think it was 2,500 sats. Made the move up to 3,540 or 40. Where was it? Let me pull up Cardano real quick. So it took some of the profits that I made from Cardano at 2,500, where we bought down here. When it finally broke through 2,500 satoshis, went all the way up to 40,000 or 4,000 satoshis. Took some profit around the 3,700 range, and move that over to Ravencoin. So that was kind of the thought process there. Naima, what's going on? AirSwap, lucky to have you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the kind words. That's very nice of you. So taking a look at some of and so Kyle mentioned that too. So that's a good point. Shout out to Kyle as always, but he's somebody I'll always remember too. Obviously, he bought me a buffalo chicken pizza one time. Him and Mike Kessler. Shout out to Mike Kessler as well. But Kyle was big on Nano back when it was Ryblocks, back when Nano was Ryblocks. And I remember him talking when it was at like $1 or $2, and he's saying, yo, you need to check out this Ryblocks. You need to check out Ryblocks. And at that time, I think it was only trading on BitGrail, which was a pretty solid move if you could get it on BitGrail and then get it off BitGrail. If you left it on, you're kind of in trouble. But that is definitely something that, that was only trading on one shitty exchange. And I looked at it, and I looked at CoinMarketCap, and I said, hey, this was me personally. I said, it's only trading on some crappy exchange that I've never heard of. I really don't want to go through that trouble. And I think that's kind of like this similar feedback that I've got from other people. It's like, oh, it's only on Crypto Bridge, so I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna leave it alone. And not to shill Raven. That's just one position I opened up today, and I'm kind of giving my thought process behind why I put some money into it. But obviously, I'm an idiot half the time, and don't do what I do. That's my best advice in all of the world. So, and one quick thought there: audio white papers would happen in your interview with Nick Cote Pizpai. So we actually had to reschedule that. He got caught up on a call, and then I had to basically go to bed. So different time zones. He got caught up. I got caught up. So I'm rescheduling that interview with Nick, hopefully in the near future, but definitely looking forward to that because he has some really solid thoughts on technical analysis, specifically on like market makers, kind of consolidation points, order block, or different kind of like order blocks and things like that. Feelings on Ethos, Bobby. So I've looked at Ethos before. I'm not the biggest like fan of it. It's just not to say anything negative about Ethos. I just think that there's a lot of, I get asked this question a lot. I think there's a lot of people that have positive thoughts on Ethos, but I just think they're trying to accomplish too much. Although they did remove they had like a comparison chart back on their website. I think they redid their website. So that's good that they redid their website because the website now actually is a pretty sharp website. So they've done a nice job on that, but there's other things. I'm not sure. So I've never used Ethos before. I've just gotten the feeling that in the past they've tried to, they're trying to accomplish too many things at once. And that can make things fairly, difficult to, if you're trying to accomplish too many tasks or too many types of things in the cryptocurrency world, you're probably not going to accomplish any of them unless you have a strong foothold in them. So we'll have to see what happens with that. What's up, Gamer Rick? Hope all is well. Any thoughts on Stellar recently? Pull up Stellar. Stellar's had a damn good run over the past month. I personally don't have any, but I think similar to a lot of these other assets, we'll pull up Stellar. Stellar's had a super solid recovery over the past 30 days. I mean, it's gone up 100%, still 55% off the all-time high, which is, I would say, in line with the majority of other cryptocurrencies out there, like especially the platform plays. Most of them are pretty far off the all-time high still. Bitcoin is obviously lower than 50, over 50% away from its all-time high. ETH is probably over 50% away from its all-time high. So it's kind of in that nice range. It's shown some steam. I don't personally own any Stellar. It's not like my ideal platform play. I think there's other ones out there that just generate a little bit maybe more excitement from people. And in some case that can kind of lead to just a little bit more FOMO in the long run. What's up, Coin McCoinface? Hope all is well, buddy. So thoughts on BAB as a legit banking project. Daniel, I haven't checked out BAB. I'll have to do that. I'll have to do that at some other time. Don't know too much about BAB at all. I'm not sure if this is an ICO or new bank for the micro economy. I'm not too big on like the decentralized banks, so I'd have to look into this a little bit more, but just from like the understanding the industry, I haven't really seen any of these banks do all that well. but that's just kind of from my initial thought process on that. PMag, what's up? Thanks for all the content. Appreciate that. Would love to hear your view on Icon. So if you guys didn't catch the video with Dan Moorhead Pantera, so Dan Moorhead Pantera Capital, which is, let's see if he's in the news, screaming buy. Let's pull this bad boy up. So I'll pull this over. This is 4 days ago. I think I talked about it somewhat recently. Hopefully this doesn't play.
Let's begin here.
Yep. So try and click that link if you'd like. That'll go to show you so Pantera Capital is one of the largest cryptocurrency hedge funds basically in existence right now. They started 2013, 2014. They had 25,000% ROI for their hedge fund since inception. So they're one of the leading hedge funds, crypto hedge funds out there. They're one of the most active investors. Icon is actually their largest holding right now. So I think that should tell you something pretty positively. I don't personally own any Icon right now. There's a lot of people I respect in the industry, in addition to Dan Moorhead and people like that really are positive on this one as well. So I overall feel pretty positive about Icon, especially when you compare the valuation from a platform play. In comparison to some of the other ones. Let me just pull this bad boy up. Just general purpose platforms. We go up here. Icon is, where's the market cap? Move these over. Give me 1 second. I don't know why. Let's see. Market cap. Let me pull this over real quick. So the market cap of Icon is less than 2 billion, whereas you have NEM at over, NEM's over 3.5. Let's pull this up. So Icon's the 8th largest platform. It's below Qtum, it's below ETC, it's below NEM, it's below Neo, it's below Cardano, significantly below EOS and Ethereum, obviously. Depends on how confident you are in Icon and its value proposition and how it can handle decentralized, kind of smart contracts, decentralized computing, and a lot of other components of what it's trying to accomplish, governance, things of that nature. If you believe that it is that strong and the team is that strong, the valuation is significantly lower than a lot of these platforms. So I think in that case, if you like it, it could definitely be a buy. So pulling up some of these, questions here. Appreciate all the super chats here. So I'll get into that too from a mining standpoint, but hopefully gonna have a couple different people on the channel in terms of talking about mining. I think in the next month or so, I'm probably gonna build myself a mining rig. I just want to diversify a little bit of some of like the crypto profits in general and see if I can get a long-term income stream and get profitable from a mining standpoint as well. That'd be pretty cool, pretty fun. Even if I don't make a ton of money from it, I think it would be an enjoyable experience. I used to mine like 4 years ago. It was very small scale, like super, super small scale. But I think it would be fun to get back into it now that I have a little bit of like BTC profits. I could potentially diversify around into that. Reynaldo, do you think overpriced blockchain phone and PC worth all the hype around Siren SRN? So I haven't done a ton of diligence into Siren. I saw Charles Hoskinson was at the founder of Cardano, I think was at the Siren offices today, tweeted about how he liked the project and they were one of the few maybe hardware projects out there. I haven't actually checked out the phone and kind of the hardware they're building, so I can't speak too much to that, but I definitely like to put that on a list of things to check out. But I think there is, some issues in terms of how expensive things are, because obviously that it could be prohibitive. So popping through some of these questions here. What are your thoughts on REN and TNB? Let's just pull that up real quick. Republic Protocol, and where is Republic Protocol playing at? Time New Bank. So, is this from? So Republic Protocol is one that I've heard has one of the better, believe. Let's pull this up if it's what I'm thinking about. So Republic Protocol, I've heard from some friends, has one of the most interesting white papers around. I have not read the white paper yet. Not exactly sure if... I think a decentralized dark pool is pretty interesting. I think it's in a lot of respects somewhat similar to what some of the decentralized exchanges are trying to do, although you have Ether, ERC20 tokens, and Bitcoin pairs. But a trustless dark pool is pretty cool. I think dark pools, peer-to-peer OTC trading is a massive market in the space, and if Republic Protocol can do something interesting with that, that could definitely be beneficial. I don't know too much about TNB at all, so I don't want to provide any type of false information, but I do think Republic Protocol, I've definitely heard solid things, and I know a couple people who are really interested in what they're doing in the long run. CoinBase thoughts on BTC rally after consensus last year. I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference. I'll be in New York for consensus week. I work out in New York. I live in New York. So I'll be at a lot of these different events. I don't know if I'm going to consensus yet. It's like $3,000 a ticket. So I've yet to determine if I want to pay $3,000 to go to an event. But there's a lot of like different happy hours and events afterwards that should be just as good in terms of networking and meeting people. So I might just try to pop around for that. As far as the actual Bitcoin rally and crypto rally after consensus, I guess it depends upon like what type of news comes out of consensus, if any news comes out of consensus. Maybe just stay on Twitter and see what happens, like see what people are saying. I'm sure consensus is a CoinDesk event, and I'm sure they're going to be live tweeting the entire thing. And I also believe, you certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that they streamed the entire thing. I kind of feel like I watched a consensus event in the past and the entire thing was live streamed, and it was like a great live stream, perfect audio, perfect video. So if it's live streaming something for free or spending $3,000 a ticket, even if I'm in the same city, I'm probably going to live stream that bad boy. Thank you, Jorge. I appreciate that, brother. So XYO, ICO, I don't know too much about that. I can try and just pull it up real quick. Crypto location Oracle. I don't know too much. I think I've heard about these guys. I think I've seen them like a little bit initially. Don't know too much about the team off the top of my head. I don't know about beacons and the, location verifying beacons needing to be on the blockchain. Maybe it's something that pumps. Maybe it's something that gets utilized. Who knows? I don't see a massive use case for this initially. I feel like we're pretty far out from that, but who knows in the long term? So popping through some of these questions. So apparently we're dipping right now. Let me take a look at Bitcoin. Apparently every time I go live stream, we have to lose money. So that should be, anytime I hop on a live stream, you should just know to short. Yep. What do we got? Sorry, guys. Should I end the stream right now? Is that what I should I? So we've gone, since I started live streaming, we've gone, I don't know. Well, I guess, down $200, 2%. Sorry, guys. Sorry. The only way to turn it around is to hit the thumbs up button, to hit the like button. That's the only way to turn it around. I promise you that. It's the only way. The more like buttons you hit on my videos, the higher the price goes. It's just basic math. It's fundamental TA. That's what it means. So you have to do that. You have to help me out with that. Sell everything. And guys, do want to, so I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. I'll put this in here as well. So I'm working with these guys on, this is from the Boosto team, but they're doing this Crypto Influencers Award. They're having an event during Consensus Week. It's, like I said, it's presented by Boosto, which is one of the teams that I'm helping to advise. But I would definitely check out. So I put the link in there. It's cryptoinfluenceaward.com. And there's a bunch of different awards that they're doing for like basically the best crypto YouTubers, podcasts, most informative people, blah, blah, blah. definitely go over here and vote for the people that you like the best. I think I'm on like one award. I don't really care about that, but they're actually, for their award kind of ceremony in general, they're paying for, if they're going to be paying for travel for the people that end up winning to go to New York for their event. So hopefully get an opportunity to meet a bunch of these people. I'm going to be at this event in New York. So, but if you'd like to go support the people that you like other than me, because I'm an idiot and you shouldn't vote for me, you should just give me a thumbs up on my video. But check out cryptoinfluenceaward.com, and that should definitely help you out. But yeah, JR Business is very educational, very informative. I need to yell at them to take that off. Where the hell is JR Business? Oh, no JR Business. See, according to JR Business, you want to go all in on pack coins, because pack coins is pack coins, and Tron is the new world media. They know what's going on, and I got a Ferrari that I'm recording this video in front of, so let's go. Just actually, everybody vote for JR Business on that page. Everybody vote for JR Business. So, Wesley, what's up, man? What are your thoughts on EOS? So I covered EOS a little bit earlier in the video. EOS has absolutely crushed it over the past month, up over 200%. Now it is pulled back 16 or so percent. I think a lot of people that made money in EOS, I think a lot of people put money into EOS as a short-term trade, made their money, and have since exited that position and gone elsewhere looking for similar gains. I do think that, could EOS continue to make a run? Could it go up to $20 billion, $30 billion? Absolutely. But I think that the likelihood of a continued pullback, or of a pullback, is pretty high at this point in time, considering where we were previously. So I do think that there are a lot of people that are now shorting EOS, I think, and have been evaluating that opportunity for themselves as well. But I am not going to touch EOS right now. I was looking at it, keeping an eye on it, and I'm not going to touch it at this point in time. It's maybe, if you really like it, wait for a continued pullback, see what ends up happening, but I'm all right at this point. So Reynaldo wallet for Ravencoin. I'm using the QT wallet on I'm just going to use the QT wallet at this point in time. That's kind of the best bet, other than leaving it on Crypto Bridge, which I really wouldn't recommend. But yeah, the QT wallet on your computer is probably going to be the best bet. Yeah, to Kyle's point, the sync took me less than like an hour. It would take you like 50 days to sync Bitcoin now. So shout out to Audio White Papers. Great idea, by the way. Really great idea that somebody's doing that, because reading a white paper can sometimes suck. Somebody actually doing audio white papers, fantastic move, and I will definitely listen to the Republic Protocol one. I've heard that one's fantastic. C0 Media, what's up? Your thoughts on Trex? It's been doing well recently. Kind of going to the point the other day, going to the point yesterday. Let me pull up the video, or see if I get. Let me pull it up on Steam and actually see if I could find. So I tweeted about. Let's see here if I could find it. There are a couple tweets that I think really exemplify Tron and why Tron can do well in certain points. So here's this tweet. So actually, we can go to 2 points, but I talked about this yesterday, made a whole video about it. But basically, Sicarius and Carter Thomas said these two things where pretty much the cryptocurrencies, the projects that have no product in place, that don't have anything that is actually deliverable, are the ones that do the best. And the reason for that being is that when you have a finished product, it's very easy. It's harder to enable for a pump, because when something doesn't have a finished product, when there's something out there that does not, you can't actually get your hands on and use. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. You can't play around with it. You can't code it. You can't do whatever with it. When something can't be used, you can't actually properly value it. So you're basically trading it entirely on speculation, which is why something like Tron and a lot of other these tokens are really solely traded on speculation because they're not usable yet. It's mostly, it's testnet. It's not there's nothing being built on it. There's no product there to actually use. You can't really pet your Tron dog. You can't feed your Tron dog. You can't do anything to it. So when you talk about these finished projects or these finished product things pumping that have either a finished product or not a finished product, the things that don't have the finished projects are the ones that usually pump the hardest because it's harder to value. If they do have an actual product in place, you can say, hey, this thing is fantastic, I'm going to value it high, or B, it sucks, nobody's using it, and this thing is trash, so I'm just going to sell it off to all hell. Keys Buckins, thoughts on Civic. So I participated in the Civic ICO a while ago. That was way back in like July. I participated in the Civic ICO. I've since sold off pretty much all my, I actually don't have any Civic anymore. I sold off most of my Civic for between, I think, a 3 and a 5x. At one point in time, it pumped up to 10x, I think, at some point. Let me see, where is that? One point in time, where we got CVC now? So Civic ICO'd at 10 cents. It's currently was literally a 10 cent ICO was the price. So it's up to, it's up to 40 cents. At one point in time, it was up to over $1. It spiked to the freaking moon. But I sold it mostly between 30 cents and 50 cents. Do I like Civic? Yes. Do they have a legit project? Yes. Do they have a legit product? Yes. But kind of going back to that point, it's easier to value something like Civic than it is something like Tron that is fairy dust. It does not exist. Check out Hollow Chain Hot. I think somebody just tweeted about this getting renamed. I'm not sure. Did it? Hollow Hot. It's a great ticker symbol. Wow, $5 million of volume on IDEX is nothing to sneeze at. ICO complete, 30,000 ETH. I'll have to check these guys out further. I'm assuming today is one of the first days that they've traded post ICO. Haven't read the white paper, don't know all too much about them. So really have no direct insight into what these guys are trying to do at all. The only thing that really stuck out to me was the fact that they have $5 million in volume right now, which is pretty interesting. Reggie says speculation must end. I agree and I disagree. It's there is no proper valuation method right now. There is no way, there's no formula right now that somebody can really look at these assets, that somebody can really look at these cryptocurrencies and say like, okay, this is definitively valued at XYZ because these numbers align with whatever. It's really all a speculative market at this point in time, even for Bitcoin, even for Ethereum, the two most prominent, most heavily used cryptocurrency. There is no PDE ratio. There is no specific metrics that you can really look to create a proper valuation. And a lot of these other ones, you're just kind of looking at the other comparables and what, kind of what some of the other things. And a lot of people using technical analysis to make accurate and informed decisions based upon human emotion. So, looking at some of these questions. So thoughts on Hedera Hashgraph. I've talked about Hashgraph a little bit before. I do think it's going to be like, it'll have a Ripple-like reputation. I do think that they have a solid team in place. They're marketing themselves well. I think from a technical standpoint, there's a lot of people that kind of like how they're approaching things. It's not the decentralized cryptocurrency that some people might be used to when you're talking about a Bitcoin or like an Ethereum or a Monero or a Litecoin, really, where there's kind of the active GitHub and all that type of stuff. So it's definitely a different. It's kind of a more Ripley approach than it is an Ethereum or Bitcoin type approach. I did actually get a chance to meet somebody on the other team, or somebody on a team that's building a stablecoin company called Carbon. It's building a stablecoin on Hashgraph, on Hedera Hashgraph. Pretty cool dudes. Got a chance to meet them and talk to, kind of talk about how they're building on Hashgraph. So it's certainly interesting technology that I think other developers are starting to build companies on top of. This company Carbon is literally built on Hashgraph. So the fact that there are developers out there that are spending time, money, resources on Hashgraph is interesting. I personally am not participating in the ICO or anything like that, but I do think once it hits the open market, I don't think it's tradable now for the average Joe. It's an accredited investor type ICO, but eventually I think it will be, and at that point in time, I'm sure a lot of people will buy it. Yeah, so Anuj, sorry if I'm butchering your name, brother man, but did you know QuantStamp just audited all of Binance's tokens? CZ, the CEO of Binance, tweeted QSP to thank them. They now have a working relationship. So I've actually heard in the past, I heard rumors that QuantStamp might end up doing something like that for Coinbase. And turns out that they're doing that for Binance. So that's fantastic. That's super. That's, I think, a very good use case for something like QuantStamp. Like, eventually you're going to need to start that process of kind of auditing those tokens, the smart contracts, things of that nature. And I need to stop saying things of that nature. But I think it's a fantastic use case for QuantStamp. I used to own some. I don't own any right now, but I would certainly consider moving back into it. And I do think the fact that the price didn't necessarily crush it on the news is also kind of a nice sign. It looks like they're kind of some level of resistance over the past, I don't want to say the 2,500 sat mark, but kind of in that range. So maybe it might be a decent opportunity to accumulate some here. We'll have to see. Mark, just like the good old days, man. I'm live and the market's crashing, baby. The good old days. Except I'm not drinking whiskey at night, unfortunately. I don't have any right now. And I'm drinking tea because I'm old. Going down to 6K. Well, we'll have to see if that happens, but it is kind of funny how quick the momentum in the crypto world changes. Like, we go up 1% and everybody is moon, go down 2%. Now people are calling for 6K. So it's I think we're going to be okay for right now. Who knows? But it is funny how quickly the sentiment changes in this, in this world. I'd love to hear, on your end, speaking of the person who said we're going to 6K, or to anybody else, but are we at this point in time, are we feeling bearish? Are you, over the next week, let's say, are you feeling bearish or are you feeling bullish? Are you thinking we're going below 8K? More likely we go below 8K or we go above 10K. Thoughts on that? Would love to hear that in the comments as I pull up the Bitcoin chart here. It's 50-50. Yeah, it could go up or it could go down. I think you got pretty good odds when you say that. Like, it, could go up, could go down. It's pretty solid. Tyler D, don't care, tool bag. Thanks, Tyler. Have fun with your $100 in the market, sweetheart. So, good question there. Although, be it is in all caps, Guinness. I appreciate that. But how can a currency survive if it fluctuates this much overnight? That's one of the big points that a lot of people have always pointed to in regards to Bitcoin being a true currency, or something that, like, a transactional currency, because who wants to spend something that's this volatile when either you can spend something and it could be worth twice as much the next day, or it could be worth half as much the following day. Who wants to spend that type of asset? Who wants to use that as a currency? Which is why also you're seeing the topic of, like I said before, stablecoins. People are talking about stablecoins more and more and more and trying to point to that as a solution, essentially saying that something like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever, they're always going to be volatile because of the way that the supply and demand is structured and the way the supply is restricted. It's a deflationary supply of Bitcoin, things like that, essentially, where if you have a stable coin, that will be the kind of fixed price mechanism to allow you to spend something like Bitcoin. I think it's very early stages, and there are a lot of people that have significant complaints in regards to stablecoins, especially algorithmic stablecoins, not asset-backed stablecoins, but algorithmic stablecoins as well. But I do think we're pretty early on in the industry as well to see, like, can Bitcoin ever really truly be used as a transactional, like large-scale transactional cryptocurrency? Do you need the additional layer of a stable coin? Do you need some other component to, or is it going to stabilize over time as things get more popular? Who knows? Don't know this week, but $12 or $12K after consensus. I hope that's 12K, but we'll see. Coin to Bitcoin face. So the crypto chiropractor. When cruising north on 95 to visit my clinic in upstate New York, my dude. I'm pretty young, so I don't really need a chiropractor yet. So hopefully I won't have to go like get my back cracked by you, but I appreciate the offer. Appreciate the offer very much. So looking at some of these market crashing. So we need to define what market crashing means. I mean, in the case of Bitcoin right now, over the past 2 days, we are now down 5%. So if we pull up the past week, now we're down. Let me refresh. That's not the right. We pull up the past week, we're still basically flat in comparison to where we were. You pull up the past month, and does it look like a crash to you? Not necessarily. Is it a pretty big red candle on the 4-hour right now? Yeah, absolutely. But am I terribly worried at this point in time? Not at all. That's if you want to stay worried about it, definitely do that. But this is not something I, fundamentally speaking, I'm not sure, unless there's something going on Twitter of some crazy regulatory news or anything like that. I don't think anything has fundamentally changed right now at all. I love crypto. What's up, brother? When do you want to do a stream collab? Whenever you want, dude. I'll shoot you a DM on Twitter and let's definitely get that rolling, man. Let's definitely do it. I'll come for a brew, crypto chiropractor. I don't know how far upstate you are, but I'll definitely come for a beer. Shout out to Kyle, who just went long in 89.70. I hope you're doing 100x leverage, and I think you're going to be very successful. So I did see that, James. That's a good point here. Let me actually pull up token. I tweeted about this. I'll pull up this. What do we got? Token Daily Newsletter. You didn't read this. I'll shoot this over to you. So they included this here. I have a read of this bad boy. So Token Daily Newsletter. Also, shout out to Rhett Crington for another fork. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, here we go. So Japan apparently wants to delist privacy coins. You have Japan's Financial Services Agency, the FSA, says they are just way too closely linked to the criminal underworld. And I'll pull this up here. This is on Forbes. essentially saying that Japan's regulators want to drop the altcoins that are used by the criminals. So Monero, Zcash, and Dash are what the FSA of Japan is trying to tell the cryptocurrency exchanges in Japan, hey, we don't want you playing around with Monero, Zcash, Dash. We want you to delist those. The problem with that, and this is the problem that I have when people talk about, oh, like the regulators are going to go after the privacy coins, is even if Japan says, okay, whatever the most prominent Japanese exchanges are, you need to delist Monero, Zcash, and Dash. The problem is somebody from Japan can go to an exchange from another country that still lists Monero, Zcash, or Dash and acquire it there and put it into a personal wallet or really do anything else with it. Once you have access to Bitcoin or Ethereum, it becomes very difficult for regulators to say you can't put your money somewhere. That's one of the reasons why I think, just generally speaking, in regards to privacy coins and the thought process of banning privacy coins, once you get your fiat, once you get your US dollar into into crypto, or you get the yen into crypto, or whatever local fiat currency you have, once you get that fiat currency into Bitcoin or into Ethereum, you can basically move that anywhere online and do anything with it. There are 1,000 different exchanges out there that will basically be non-restrictive to allow you to acquire a certain cryptocurrency. Like, let's just say Binance, for example. So Binance isn't necessarily headquartered in Japan anymore, and they don't do KYC. So even if Japan bans Japanese exchanges from listing Monero, Zcash, and Dash, somebody from Japan can go. They can buy Bitcoin. They can send that to Binance un-KYC'd. Even if they end up, for whatever reason, banning Binance, you could always VPN somehow, and then you could essentially acquire Monero or Zcash on Binance. So something to think about. Oh. Kyber Kenobi says, you're missing the point. Making something illegal still has a deterrent effect. Yes and no. I get that argument, but I think slightly think that I don't know. I get the argument of saying, hey, that's going to kind of going to the point where I was talking about accessibility before. If it's that much more difficult if the access point gets shut off, and now it's more difficult to purchase, that could make it less valuable. But at the same point in time, I've seen counter arguments both ways. I've seen that people have said if governments ban privacy coins, but there's still like a black market for them, they'll be more valuable. And I've seen people say that they'll be less valuable. We haven't seen anybody truly ban privacy coins yet. So I don't think we really know how the market's going to react until it happens. But I really wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised if Japan or if another country out there does ban privacy-focused cryptocurrencies or try to limit access. That would not surprise me in the least bit. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw my somebody talking about their boss. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet earlier. Let me pull this bad boy up. I tweet way too much. So I was out at a bar on Saturday night, sitting by myself, just enjoying a nice beer by myself. It was like 75 degrees outside. Just wanted to go grab a beer, enjoy myself, enjoy the nice weather. 75 degrees in New York in April, nothing to sneeze at. So I'm sitting there. Some guy comes up next to me, bar stool next to me, wearing a full Adidas jumpsuit, and starts talking to me, shooting the shit with me, and then goes, and then from there goes and says that he's like, starts talking to me, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, what do you do for a living? And I was like, well, you ever hear so usually I preface it, and because I work for AirSwap now, in addition to having the YouTube channel, I work full time at AirSwap. I usually say, have you ever heard of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency? Because if I say, hey, I work on decentralized exchange technology, people are going to look at me like I have 10 heads. So I'm like, hey, you ever heard of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency? And the guy's like, hey, fuck Bitcoin. What the fuck? And he starts going off of me for 45 minutes about how I'm throwing my life away, how it's a scam, and how it's this and how it's that. And I'm like, dude, I don't really care, bro. Like, you can say what you want. Like, Now, last year basically pulled a 25x for me, so I think I'm okay, but you can yell at me all you want. But he went on and on and on, eventually bought me a drink, and then I was like, please just stop talking to me. But yeah, so in the future, I'm going to say I work in fintech, I work in consulting, I'm an astronaut, I'm saying anything but Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because if I have to get lectured again by an old man in a full Adidas jumpsuit, I'm going to freak the hell out. Any ghosts, do you think the technical inability of most people to secure the private keys will eventually act as an impediment to mass adoption? It's easy to lose your 24 words in a fire or hurricane, and the hacks will only get worse if the price continues to rise. Good question. I do think that there is a lot of work in general being done on the overall user experience of cryptocurrency. I think that a lot of companies out there previously spent quite a bit of time on trying to improve the kind of the back end technology, and there was not a lot of attention spent on the user experience, which is why something like, to be pretty frank, Coinbase, while a lot of people don't like Coinbase, while a lot of people have issues with Coinbase, I do think that their user experience is such that your grandma, or maybe you are a grandma watching this, but your grandma or your grandpa could probably use Coinbase and be all right using it. On the other end of the spectrum, there are some other exchanges and other products that are harder to use. Do I think that the technical inability will be an impediment to mass adoption? I do think right now it is. It's harder to use cryptocurrency than it is to use some of the other things, but I think that's being worked on, and that barrier is getting lower and lower and lower every single day, because companies out there, and I've met with a company last week that their entire pitch was, we're going to make it so the average person can use cryptocurrencies, and we're going to be what helps to garner mass adoption, blah, 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 blah. So I do think that that is something that people are continually working on and is a huge point of emphasis in the industry moving forward. William Cleary, what's up, man? Can somebody someday compare the energy trading tokens, WePower, Power Ledger, Restart, Elec Asia? Any thoughts on your favorites? Keep up the good work. So I've spoken to the guys over at WePower personally through the work that I've done at AirSwap. So I have a relationship actually with the WePower guys from AirSwap, my day job personally. So good guys, valued significantly less in terms of just market capitalization and trading than something like Power Ledger is. Probably a little bit less hype than Power Ledger is. Power Ledger crushed it last year. They did really, really well. That was one of my biggest regrets, was not investing in the Power Ledger ICO when I had the opportunity to do that very, very easily. And that pulled like a 10-20x at one point in time. So that was one of my biggest regrets of fall of 2017. I can definitely try to do some type of comparison. WePower and Power Ledger, I think, are the two largest ones. The way in which that they sell energy is different. I would need to just do a quick refresh off the top of my head. Did full due diligence on WePower, kind of for my day job, and then with Power Ledger as well. They're slightly different in terms of the target audience, and I think WePower is more investor focused, like investors buying energy, whereas Power Ledger is more kind of residential focused, although I need to go back and clarify on that before spreading any type of misinformation. So popping in here at some of these questions. Not sure if that's the real Supoman or if that's the fake Supoman, because we've had fake Supomans here in the past, but Apparently real and or fake Supoman wants to do some backcracking in upstate New York with me, so maybe we'll hold hands and do that. And I love crypto. Is a retired chiropractor, so did meet him in San Francisco. He didn't offer to crack my back, which I found was pretty rude, but who knows? Greg Katz, this chat is ridiculous. That's the only way to do it, man. That's the only way to do it. So popping through some of these questions. What are your thoughts about blockchain terminal BCT ICO main sale just ended? Did you hear about it? Definitely fake Supo, because I'm pretty sure we have a fake Ian Bellina in the house now as well. I do love the fakes that provide me with free money, so shout out to fake Ian Bellina on this bad boy as well. I haven't seen the chat yet, so I don't know how inappropriate or appropriate it is, but I just see the picture. So thoughts on blockchain terminals. So blockchain terminals one, I actually saw them at a bunch of different events that I was at out here. So they're kind of like a Bloomberg terminal for, they're trying to be like a Bloomberg terminal for cryptocurrency. They have a pretty solid team. The technology looks pretty cool. As far as like needing a token, I mean, there's a lot of things that I guess force a token in, but I don't understand necessarily why this wouldn't just be a straight up subscription sale. Why this wouldn't just be like something you would either pay for in US dollar or Bitcoin on a monthly basis and have access to. I don't really get why you'd need a token to do this, or why there's a token ecosystem involved in this really at all. But the actual, like, I saw the platform in person. It was pretty cool. The trading, kind of the exchange integration, a lot of things they have going on. So the product itself looked pretty cool. I just didn't necessarily get how a token fit into the mix. Chris Parada, yeah, I do tend to stop mid-thought because my brain just does not work that fast, that man. Fake Ian Bellina, what's up, brother? To the one dude who has all these fake YouTube profiles and still super chats me, you are my best friend, and I do love you. So blockchain mentioned, I'm looking for ICOs myself at the moment because I think if we hit a bull market, then it could do well. The one thing I would caution in regards to that is that the one thing I would caution you on with that is that unless you're an accredited investor for the most part, or you're not in the US, but even then, for the most part, unless you're an accredited investor in an institution, you are not getting the best deals when it comes to ICOs anymore. The days of main sale ICOs being accessible to ordinary individuals, the days of ordinary individuals getting access to pre-sales, it's mostly long gone. It's at this point in time. It's funny because I was listening to a podcast on my way home from work today, driving back from work, listening to a podcast, and somebody was talking about, like, this is like the first time in history where regular people can invest before venture capital firms. And that might have been true like a year ago or like 10 months ago. But now venture capital firms, now Andreessen Horowitz, now Pantera Capital, now all these big hedge funds and VC firms, they have caught up and they're getting in on these deals way before you are. And that either leads to you buying a very high valuation, or potentially a lot worse. So the days of individuals kind of focusing and being like, yo, this is democratizing VC investing, it's really not anymore, at least in my opinion. What's up, Hillary Clinton? Hope all is well. Guys, if you are watching this now, throw up the like button, throw up the thumbs up. That'd be fantastic. We really appreciate that. Helps to get the video out to as many people as possible. Does Mercury Protocol have a chance to come to Coinbase? Let's take a look at Mercury Protocol, and I will tell you why that does not have a chance to go to Coinbase. So Mercury Protocol is currently and I've traded Mercury Protocol before, mostly lost my face, and I was swear to God looking at Mercury Protocol today because I bought this back when it was around $10 million. I traded it a little bit, made some money, and then pretty much gave it all back when the market crashed in mid-January. It has since fallen off a cliff. It is only basically available on Ether Delta or Fork Delta. Has $2,000 worth of volume, so it's illiquid as all hell. It's 3.5 ETH of volume. And it's a project backed by Mark Cuban and Nick. What do we have here as well? The guy behind One Confirmation, which is a pretty legit well-respected firm, VC investment firm in the space. Pop down here, Nick Tamino, formerly of Coinbase and Runa Capital. So, yeah, what you would think like, hey, it's Mark Cuban behind it. Hey, it's Nick Tamino who does Token Summit, who runs One Confirmation. Now, this is a pretty solid cryptocurrency. It has just absolutely not done anything. And I was looking at this now and thinking like, hey, this might be a decent one to pick up some. It would certainly take quite a bit of time to actually accumulate any bit of this, but I don't know if it's bottomed out or not. But I've been tempted to look at this and pick up some Mercury Protocol, because even if it goes back up to a $10 million market cap, that's a 4x. So, and that's not that hard. That's not that difficult. I don't have any now, but I was kind of thinking about that today. If I really wanted to go shitcoin diving, this is one of the ones that I was actually thinking about. But will this get listed on Coinbase to the original questions? No, absolutely not. Not a chance in no. It's more likely that the Supo Man and the Ian Bellina and the Hillary Clinton in this chat right now are real people than it is that Mercury Protocol is listed on Coinbase. That's the level of odds that we're looking at right now. Guys, at this point in time, I finished up my tea. I need to get ready for another day of work tomorrow. Probably going to dive into a little bit of research here as well. If you are new to the channel, would really appreciate hitting the subscribe button, the notify bell. That way you get all these videos as soon as they do come out. If you enjoyed the video tonight, hit the thumbs up button. It was fantastic to have you here. Sorry for crashing the price. It's pretty much my fault exclusively that we are now down below $9,000. So my sincere apologies on that. This red candle here is entirely my fault. So sorry about that, folks. However, on the plus side, as soon as I sign off, bang out 100x long, because as soon as I sign off, the market typically rebounds. I'm kidding. Not financial advice, but thank you guys. Appreciate all the super chats and everything like that. Have a good one. Take it easy. Peace.